Hi everyone, hope you would have watched my motivation talk on tuned amplifiers. Why we have to study tuned amplifier? It is because of communication receivers where we want to receive our signals. With the help of your resonating circuits, we'll be receiving back the signals. And there we studied some few characteristics of your resonant circuits, that is your bandwidth and Q factor relationship. Because bandwidth and Q factor relationship, they are inversely proportional to each other. So with this as a review, now we will take up your tuned amplifiers. So tuned amplifiers, we know that it is going to amplify a specific frequency, okay, and that specific frequency is going to be selected by your resonating circuit. So tuned amplifiers, they are classified into small signal and large signal amplifiers. So the large signal amplifiers, they are used to drive your end devices like your speakers, okay, and small signal tuned amplifiers, they are to drive the intermediate stages in your communication systems. So we have single tuned amplifier, then we'll be seeing later in the double tuned amplifier, synchronously tuned amplifier and stagger tuned amplifier. So let me have your overview of all these amplifiers now to get a clear picture. So single tuned amplifier, it will employ a single tuning circuit at the output of your amplifier, so therefore its response is it will be as similar as that as your resonating circuit. Next, double tuned amplifier, it will employ two tuning circuits, each one tuned to two different frequencies placed. Each of the tuning circuits, they'll be tuned to two different frequencies, therefore they'll be able to provide us a better bandwidth. And synchronously tuned amplifiers, it is employed in multi-stage amplifiers. So in case of your multi-stage amplifiers, all your amplifiers will be tuned to the same frequency to provide the maximum gain for that particular frequency. Next, stagger tuned amplifier. This is also employed in multi-stage amplifiers where each amplifiers are tuned to slightly different frequencies which are placed closer to each other, therefore providing a wider bandwidth. So now we will discuss about your single tuned amplifier. So you can see here a resonating circuit is employed at the output and the output is tapped by inductive coupling. So similarly you can have the capacitive coupling to tap your output. So now we will analyze this tuned circuit because we want to find out the bandwidth and quality factor, whether they are depending on your parasite, that is your device values. Since these are employed for your high frequencies, we are replacing your transistor with the high frequency model, that is hybrid pi model, where all your interelectrode capacitance are taken into account. So now you can see that CB-C, which is common between your base and collector. So now it appears. So therefore, whenever any element that appears from your input to output as common, then we have to use the Miller theorem. By Miller's theorem, this CB-C will be replaced at the input side as well as at the output side by the gain factors. So now we'll see next. In the next slide, we'll see how it has been replaced. Now you can see here at the output side, almost your output impedance, your capacitor, they are all in parallel except this L and this leakage resistance R. So this series impedance will convert it to parallel so that the network reduction can be done easily. Okay, so this L and R, they are in series. So we'll take the admittance of that and we will replace it with the shunt values. So we know that the admittance of this is given by 1 series RL will be given by 1 by R plus j omega L. So which is given as R minus j omega L divided by R square plus omega square L square. Okay, and we want it to be written of the form 1 by Rp plus 1 by j omega Lp, because we want it to be written in case of your admittance form. So where my Rp will be equal to R square plus omega square L square by R, and my Lp will be equal to R square plus omega square L square by omega square L. So now you can see that CB-C is been replaced as per the Miller's theorem, and it is been combined along with your capacitor C, because capacitors, when they are parallel, they will get added up. So it has been replaced as C equivalent, and here it has been replaced as Ci. So now we will see what is this C equivalent. So Ci is the input capacitance, C equivalent will be the output capacitance. Ci is Cb dash E plus Cb dash C into 1 minus A. As per Miller's theorem, it has been replaced at the input side by Cb dash C into 1 minus A. And C equivalent is Cb dash C into A minus 1 by A. This is at the output side. So plus your tuned circuit capacitance. Now the center frequency or the resonating frequency is given by 1 by 2 pi square root of it is LP into C equivalent, because this is my parallel inductive equivalent value and this is my capacitor's equivalent value at the output side, because I have Cb dash C into A minus 1 by A, that is because of my Miller's effect, and LP is equal to R square plus omega square L square by omega square L. Now we will see the loaded Q factor value. So LP is equal to R square plus omega square L square by omega square L. If at all your omega L is very greater than R, okay, then omega square, I can neglect this term and I can write it as it is omega square L square by omega square L. So which will almost give me it is equivalent to L. Okay, and what is my RP? My RP is R square plus omega square L square by R. So which can be rewritten as omega square L square by R, and we know that the quality factor is given by omega R L by R. So here now this capital R will be nothing but my parallel resistance RP. So it is given by my QR is equal to RP by omega RL. My quality factor is given by Rp by omega RL. Now the simplified circuit. So I have at the output side it is Gm Vp dash E. So and C equivalent LP is equal to E, and here we have Rp and then the input stage R0. All that will be in parallel. So we combine all that, your R0, Rp and Ri parallel as Rt. Now the effective quality factor Q effective is given by RT by omega RL, or Q effective can be given as omega R RT C equivalent. So here you can see the quality factor, it depends on your device resistance, because RT is nothing but R0 parallel RP parallel RI, and so therefore that is that. And if your quality factor, if you are defining with the case of your equivalent capacitance, then the equivalent capacitance includes your Miller capacitance. Now the voltage gain of the single tuned amplifier, it's given by, so it is AV will be given as minus GM VB dash E. So VB dash E is nothing but the drop across RB dash E, and this will act as a RBB dash and RB dash E, they will act as a voltage divider. So therefore it is RB dash E by RBB dash plus RB dash E into RT by 1 plus 2J Q effective delta, where delta is the fractional variation in your resonating frequency. So which is given as minus GM at resonant. We know that the system behaves purely resistive, so therefore this part will not be available. So therefore it is given as minus GM RB dash E by RBB dash plus RB dash E into RT. So AV, the voltage gain at any frequencies, that is normalization, compared to at the resonant frequency, it is given by 1 by square root of 1 plus 2 delta Q effective. So the 3 dB bandwidth. So we know that this delta F, it is given as 1 by 2 pi RTC equivalent. Okay, so which is nothing but my FR by Q effective. So Q effective in turn depends on my device resistance and capacitance. So therefore this is the drawback with your single tuned amplifiers. And there is one more problem with the single tuned amplifiers, because at high frequencies we know that the parasitic capacitors of the device will offer the least reactance part. Okay, especially my CB-C. So this will lead to oscillations. How to reduce this oscillations? This can be prevented by reducing the gain at the unity gain frequency, or by doing the neutralization. So what is neutralization? Cancelling the effect of your CB-C is called as your neutralization. So now we'll see one model, which is Hazeltine neutralization model. So here I have just shown the CB-C effect is been there. Okay, So now I have included externally a neutralizing capacitor Cn, and you can see here this Cb-C, the signal produced by Cb-C and Cn will be of equal, but they will be out of phase with each other because it is being tapped from your center tapped transformer. This is at the main lead and this is from your lower lead. So therefore these leads, they'll have 180-degree phase shift to each other. So they'll produce the same signal but out of phase signals, and therefore they cancel each other's effect. So this is your Hazeltine neutralization method. Next one, modified Hazeltine neutralization. So in case of your modified Hazeltine neutralization, neutralization always deals with to cancel the effect of your Cb-C. Okay, the signal produced by Cb-C, somehow we want to cancel it out. So here also you can see we are tapping the output from a secondary. From your lower terminal we are driving, so therefore again this will produce a 180-degree out of phase with each other, and they will cancel the effect of the signal produced by Cb-C. So this is the way by which we can avoid the system undergoing oscillator at high frequencies because of the parasitic capacitors, because we know that the parasitic capacitors at low frequencies they don't play the role, only at high frequency they start exhibiting their effect. So if at all they produce a phase shift in such a way that the positive feedback condition is achieved, then your system will be in oscillation condition. So therefore we can avoid the signal produced by Cb-C by cancelling it out by connecting some neutralization capacitors. Okay, thank you all. So we hope to see in the double tuned amplifier later. Thank you.